Alright, good afternoon. So today we will be finishing Season 2 of our Guild Wars 2 story playthrough. So thus far, we have completed the first 7 chapters of Season 2, and that leaves us on Point of No Return, which is where we'll pick it up right now. So when we left off, we had been trying to chase down the Master of Peace and kind of try and find out what was going on, because apparently he had a thing, and then we learned that the thing was an egg. It was an egg from Glint, Glint's last egg, in fact. So now being referred to as kind of the legacy of Glint. Not kinda, that is what it's being referred to. And what it will be referred to going forward, even after it hatches and so forth. And we'll get to that in a minute. It's going to be a little bit of a minute still, but we will eventually get to that moment. In the meantime, we're trying to run that down, and we eventually found the masterpiece, but he had succumbed to his injuries inflicted on him by Mordrum, and he's like, "Hey, please take this egg," and then Kaith Dunn ran off with it. So we're trying to track Kaith down. We went to the Pale Tree and talked to the Pale Tree about it, and Pale Tree is like, "Hey, I'm pretty banged up from this whole Mordramoth attack on the World Summit thing, but here's some memory seeds, and by reliving Kaith's memories, maybe you can somehow come to a realization of where she might have been." So we've relived 3 of 4 of Kaith's memories, but the third one ends with, or rather, we've used 3 of the 4 seeds we were given, I should say, which resulted in 3 memories. Presumably, the fourth one will as well, right? And that led us to a locked door. The door, a stone door in the side of a stone wall, is protected by like a magical seal. And so, what we're trying to do right now is run down how we can break that magical seal and find this fourth memory and thus understand what's going on with Kaith and so forth. Um, we've learned about Kaith's past and kind of about how the Sylvari came to mature after they initially came to be, and the formation of the Nightmare Court as well. So we've learned a lot of things lore wise, and this final chapter will have some very significant lore, and will also obviously set the table for the first full expansion to Guild Wars 2, Heart of Thorns, which comes after Season 2. So a lot going on here, and we are going to get it finished today. I have nothing but time, and we're only 1 chapter away, so it should be easy peasy to walk us up to Heart of Thorns today. So we got a letter, which will get us started here. From Marjorie, Ogden believes he may know the origin of the symbol we found at the rock wall. Wants to come to the Priory to see him. Maybe he can help us figure out how to open the portal through the rock. And also, thank you. It's, personal issues, personal issues. Marjorie's dealing with some stuff because her sister was killed by Mordramoth, right? Um, and then there was like that moment where her sister basically imbues her spirit into the family sword, which is now carried by Marjorie. Um, it is unclear, open to some debate as to whether or not Marjorie, a necromancer, carrying a great sword, kind of was a foreshadowing of one of the elite specs that we would ultimately get in Heart of Thorns. I lean towards no, it was not, but if you wanted to make the argument that it was, that's fine. I probably wouldn't argue with you, too hard. Um, really don't have significant emotional investment in that argument, anyways. All right, we need to go speak to the chef. Why to the chef? Because
Balthazar, Lord of Killing and rather brutal dentistry. Is that right? Oh, Balderdash.
Glix, if you're gonna be like a senior dude in the Priory, you should probably know more
Talk to me.
than that. What were you saying about Balthazar? Tomorrow I am to meet with a contingency of priests dedicated to the human gods. Sadly, I'm a bit rusty on human mythology. I'm refreshing my knowledge. In fairness to Glix, right, he is not human, so he's more of an eternal alchemy sort of guy than a human god sort of guy. And, it you can't be the a high up member of a big organization like this and be specialized in every little thing that the organization does, right? All right, so why are we on our way to the chef? Because the chef controls the portal towards the Priory's library, which is like in the chef's fire. Hey, leave the wards open for you. She's already inside. Storage room is unlocked at the moment. Thanks. I will now walk through the fire and into the library. Yay. Hey, Margie.
Ogden a sketch of that symbol we saw in the Silver Waste.
Good thinking.
He thinks the Priory may have something that can help us dispel the magic that's locking us out of the cave. If we're lucky, it'll lead us closer to Cave and Glint's egg. Ready when you are, boss. Ogden's waiting for us inside. Lead the way.
All right, Ogden, the last, as far as we know, dwarf.
What do you think we'll find inside that cave? That vision was from years ago.
Yeah. Well, I would say probably not much because the vision was from years ago, but it is the main plot drive of the story in the game, so probably something, I guess. Yeah, we can talk to this guy. Whoa. Alright, sorry to bother you, man. So yes, Ogden, last dwarf, and as the last remaining one of his species, and also someone who's been around for a long, long time, he appears in Guild Wars Eye of the North, so he's been around a few hundred years, so thus contributing his great knowledge to the German Priory, right?
We meet again. Miss Delacroix already filled me in. Shame about the Master of Peace and the egg. It seems a magic barrier stands between you and your quarry. It belongs to the Forgotten.
Ancient but powerful snake beings, very similar in appearance to the Crate, but far more advanced and intelligent. They wielded great magic. So we would be a little bit more familiar with the Forgotten if we have played Guild Wars 1, right? If we played the first game, then we would have gone through some rituals that involved the Forgotten, and that's super relevant to this instance right now. Forgotten Seal. I've seen something like this before in an ancient tome here in the Priory, based on Miss Delacroix's description. I'd say you found a slot for one of their seals. Savari once inserted a golden seal to trigger the caves. And so we're talking about Wynn, right? We saw that in the memory. That Wynn inserted that golden seal. We don't know where she got it, or that's kind of an untold story. I don't know that it needs to be told. Sometimes Arenanet's really bad about leaving very relevant things unexplained, but there's also such a thing as over-explaining, and this is a situation where we don't need to over-explain. Wynn had it, she inserted it, she went through the door, we need to get through the door, moving on. According to my records, they were sometimes used as keys, among other things. I assume the key is now lost. Well, I don't have it. I don't know where it is. Maybe we can override the magical lock. I've read of a way to reproduce divine fire. It's extremely dangerous, and you'll only get one shot. But it could influence forgotten magic. Well, only one shot is... That's not optimal, right? I mean, it's really not. I would like to have multiple shots, but okay. Your race's benefactors, the gods, that being the human gods, and I've mentioned a few times, I would love... there's no room for it in this story. But I would love a better understanding of where the human gods fit in the all 5 races, higher beliefs and so forth. But anyway, the gods enchanted their favorite followers with their magic. It allowed these humans to access hidden places. You will not be ascended, however, so touching it could kill you. Yes, so the process of attaining ascension was how we interacted with the Forgotten in the first Guild Wars game. Very well, it's your death. Since you insist on continuing, go up to the special collections and find the tome about the gods and divine fire. Your journey starts within its pages.
I'll
Okay.
provide help when I can. Otherwise, I'll remain here, quietly judging your progress from afar.
Jerk. Okay, let's go find a book. We need a book. We need the knowledge contained within that book in order to understand...
Let's find a book on the Forgotten.
Yeah, that's literally what I was just saying, Marjorie. But thank you. All right. So fortunately, we don't have to search like the whole library, like all of this nonsense, right? Because our little green lines tell us that the book is relatively close. Yeah. Oh, covert operations or organizations. Shining Blade, Order Whispers. So we've had interaction with the Shining Blade, and of course we had the option to join the Order of Whispers, and we will learn more about
Where can we find a book about dispelling barriers?
about the Order of Whispers and kind of you know there's more in Pathfire to further expand on the Order of Whispers. Closer to the stars. Well, that was similar to Ascension, right? But that's a Canthan thing, and thus not involved with the Forgotten. That was a separate process, um, something different than Ascension. Love Among the Weeds. Is this a Sylvari love story? No.
Let's keep searching.
A love potion made from dry seaweed. Aight. Well, Quaggins, you know. I mean, they're something, aren't they? Ooh. So here's a prominent book. And also, so this skin right here that they're like using for the book in this particular situation can also be obtained as a back piece. In fact, I believe there are 2 different back pieces which share that skin. Um, I have them on my main account. Obviously, we do not have them on this account. It would be worth, however, chasing down like you know, an ascended back piece or at least a berserker back piece versus this celestial one. But not right now, because we got other things to do. Massive book titled Fire of the Gods: The History and Structure of the Trials of Ascension. Well, that sounds like more or less what we were looking for, right? Didn't Ogden talk about Ascension? Are you familiar with Ascension? I am, but for the purposes of the playthrough, let's read through it. Long ago, there was a process that allowed Tyrian humans to draw power from their magical benefactors. What more can you tell us about Ascension? It's a ritual that allowed your ancestors to commune with their ancient benefactors, that being human gods. Your people called them gods, yes. Those who successfully performed it received power and knowledge. So the player character in the first Guild Wars goes through this process, and it's one of the, just like Guild Wars 2, the player character in the first Guild Wars was very much like the chosen one trope, and you know, succeeded at extraordinary things that no other human could succeed at, etc., etc. But at least they were part of a group, which Guild Wars 2 kind of does, but does less successfully than in the first one. Houses tied the symbol in the cave. Forgotten serve those same masters, the old gods. Do you think the Forgotten are inside the cave? Doubtful, though one never knows. It's believed the last of them disappeared long ago. That would have been something, but it's not the case. I'm going to go ahead and spoil that now. No Forgotten in the cave. What do I need to do? Well, you won't be ascending. So disappointing in a way, right? But the last thing we need is to make the commander, player character person here even more absurdly over the top OP than everyone else in the world of Tyria. So fine, no ascension. The ward keeping you from entering that cave is undoubtedly similar magic, since the Forgotten were servitors of that being. Nothing I didn't predict. There's a wax seal in the book, bearing a symbol like the one Miss Delacroix drew. If destroyed, it initiates a series of events. I'm not exact. So the book is booby-trapped, right? We need to somehow solve that. If I'm right, you will encounter an echo of Turai Asa. So Turai Asa predates the first Guild Wars game. In fact, by quite a bit. He is a historical figure even in the first game. A historical figure from Alona, which we're way ways from having anything to do with Alona right now. But a great human hero under any circumstances. But don't get ahead of yourself. Okay, I'm done then. I'm done talking about Turai Asa. Sorry, Ogden. To ensure success, you will need to find 3 relics with ties to Asa. We have some around here. Who was Turai Asa? Long dead memory, man led a pilgrimage from Alona to the Crystal Desert to seek ascension, but he and all of his followers failed. Well, That's a buzzkill, right? Yes. We already read that. All right. We need to find 3 relics related to Turiasa. Is it the mirror? I don't think it's the mirror. Oops, sorry. I accidentally talked to Marjorie. Yes, lived a long and busy life. Well, that's what we all aspire for, right? Mirror? No. It's like over... It's over one of these walls. Like, they're not walls, but we gotta get over the,
Boss, you better check this out.
What? Check what out? Well, that... Not helpful at all. Where do we climb to get over the top? Can we jump on Ogden? No. Alright, well, let's look at what we got. Maybe it's not. Maybe we don't go over the top. It's not in the Trade of Relics. Oh, apparently it's the map. Okay. For some reason, I thought it was over the back of one of these. Shows the route Turai Asa and his pilgrims took from Alona to the lands of Palawajoko. Okay, and Turai Asa's interactions with Palawajoko are a significant, but not right now, significant part of the lore.
Magical wards have been used throughout history to contain threats or lock intruders out.
Thank you for that insight, Margaret. Alright, 2 more relics to find.
Ogden's a cranky old boulder, isn't he? But at least he's on our side.
Okay, that really doesn't have anything to do with what's happening right now, but I do appreciate your candor on the subject of Ogden. Weathered Crest? Yep. Leave me alone. White Mantle. Not anything to do with Forgotten.
I think I saw a book on ancient history over here.
Lord Valador, a warrior who accompanied Turai Asa to the Crystal Desert, wrote this journal. He reportedly recovered Turai Asa's body after Asa fell in battle. Okay, well. I don't know that that necessarily makes it a relic. Apparently it does. Are biographies relics now? If I write an autobiography, is it a relic?
Ogden said we should check the crates.
I'm assuming that Alonian basket is what I want. Maybe this is where we had to, like, find our way up.
What's in here?
Sack full of ashes. An inscription on the inside of the container claims the ashes belong to Turai Asa's son, Kunai.
Nicely done.
Well, thank you, Marjorie. My whole goal for today was to find a cremated prince. That was kind of... My Zodiac said I would. Alright, Ogden, I got some relics. They'll do nicely to anchor you. Oh, okay. I'll break the wax seal, then give the tome to Miss Delacroix. She can advise you while you complete the challenges. Are you ready? So I laugh at the anchor you thing. I actually really like the idea. Somehow I missed, maybe I didn't select the right dialogue, somehow missed like the importance of anchoring me to this realm as we like go through these challenges or whatever. I do like that. It caught me off guard. Okay. Yeah, let's do this thing. Alrighty, Turai Awesome. So what we're about to do is we are about to kind of repeat the trials that Turai Asa went through and the player character in the first Guild Wars went through to attain Ascension. So while we ourselves will not attain Ascension, by going through a similar process, we hope to obtain the Divine Fire, right? That's Turai Asa, I'm guessing. I am also guessing because neither of us knew him, so we're not in a position to just look at him and say, right? an echo of him, according to the tome. So the idea of like a metaphysical echo, like, is like pretty consistent throughout the world of Tyria and kind of the world building that Arenanet did. The whole Fractals of the Mist thing also kind of works off a similar idea, that the fractals are echoes or like duplications or alternate realities to the one that we currently kind of exist in, right? All right, what am I supposed to do next? Accompany the ghostly hero. It doesn't look like you fight it. You must work with the ghost to protect it. Okay.
My people flee to the desert and build a great temple. While we labored, we were set upon by the stewards of the desert, the forgotten. They slaughtered my people, and now another ghost sits upon my throne. I beseech you, help me return to the temple.
And as stated, these are things we did in the first Guild Wars as well. And we in the first Guild Wars, you actually see the
To
temple.
help the ghostly hero reclaim his throne. Are you ready?
I am in fact ready.
This works.
And in Guild Wars 2, we get to see that that area as well. Now, it's obviously, as it should be, very different in Guild Wars 2 than in Guild Wars 1. I mean, an incredible amount of time has passed. It should not be the same.
We need to relive history.
But we will return to that part of the world much later in the story.
Once you've passed all 3 trials.
What, are you suddenly an expert on the book now, Marjorie? Alright, so just like we're like claiming a camper in World vs. World or something, we're gonna occupy this area while we wait, or we have to occupy it for a period of time while Turayasa here completes his whole thing, right? And sadly, there's really no way of speeding him up. He's just gonna kind of do his thing. Is that shield skin? I think that shield skin ultimately became available in the game. The one that he's using, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to double check to be sure, though. There's a possibility that I'm just plain wrong.
Time to do some real damage.
Watch out!
Oh no!
Time to do some real damage.
Almost. I knew there was gonna be one more wave. It was just we were way too close for there not to be one last shenanigans. Alright, that should do it. Marjorie. I think we're going to follow him, and we'll find out that way. Tome says in the next trial, you'll be purifying the tainted souls of Asa's army. Wow. I mean, they are in the army. So logic would serve that they have tainted souls. Let's do it.
This feels like we've taken a step back in time.
Hurts, doesn't it?
They're just going to keep coming, huh? The obvious answer is yes. They will. Alright, you good now, Troy, also?
Now you must be cleansed.
Am I cleansed? I have resolution. Was that cleansing? The next trial is the last one. You have to find 3 special vision crystal shards and give them to Asa. Alright, where'd I find them? Start by following the ghostly hero. Thank you, Marjorie. You're almost as helpful as Kate. Now, having said that, would the instance be as good if Marjorie didn't say anything at all? Probably not. Probably not. Is that the dialogue I would have chosen for her?
Shards.
No.
Luck, boss. I'll be here in case anything happens.
So I suppose the reason that she's not actually going to help us, like while we fight all these different things, is she's got to tote that book around, right? So I guess we'll give her the benefit of the doubt, because there is very much an urge to kind of be annoyed by someone who's like, hey, you're doing great, boss. Keep up the good work. I'll be here doing nothing in case you need me. But her whole thing is to facilitate the magic of this by toting that book around as we go through it, I guess. So we'll take it. Now, credit to them, this isn't that different. I mean, you know, within the context of what they like try to do here, than the first Guild Wars. You know, it's similar enough that a player who went through it in the first Guild Wars would recognize it and hopefully like be pleased with what they were seeing and doing and so forth. And that's a good thing. So I do think when it comes to like this specific little interaction here, or the gameplay within this instance, like I quite like it, because I think they achieved a good thing. They do, by this point in time, have a history, not this point in time as in where our playthrough's at, but like this point in time, 2023. They very much have a history of using the first game as a crutch way too much, both for like story writing and for, to a lesser degree, content. Um, the games take place in the same world, like 250 years ish apart, so some of it's understandable, but it's too much.
Some real damage.
At the time this instance was released, that was not necessarily the case, though. They hadn't, at least in my opinion, relied so heavily on the first game that that this particular instance is problematic in any way. That really it really gets bad in like Path of Fire, and I feel like we're gonna have more of it coming in the near future, like fall of 2023. I'm afraid. Sounds good. Bye, buddy. Nope, and he's gone. But we have Divine Fire, which was the whole goal here, right? So note that with that final one, what we assembled was a Vision Crystal, which, while we did not attain Ascension here, for Ascended gear, Ascended armor, and weapons, right? You use Vision Crystals for both those, I believe. So Vision Crystals in this game as well are associated with ascending things.
Be
Right?
careful on your journey. We don't have any information on what's inside that cave.
It will be interesting to see how they react. Yeah, so I guess we don't, like, we don't know, right? Maybe this will just kill us. Who knows? Who knows? Theoretically, it'll have an effect, though I could be wrong. All right. Well, like what happens if he's just wrong? And I guess we just kind of shrug our shoulders and return to the fight against Mordermoth, like presumably. It's fire. It's not hot. Could it be dangerous? Of course it could. Good answer, Ogden. That is the best possible answer in my opinion. But to whom is the question. For all we know, the fire could fade over time. And the wax seal is broken. We can't repeat the ritual. Alright, take the torch, go straight there. I'll meet you when I'm ready. This is not us talking to Ogden now. This is us talking to Marjorie, by the way. You want me to take the torch? Yes, I trust you keep it safe until I get there. I'll see you soon. So two interesting things about this. One, like, why wouldn't we want to just take the torch ourselves? Like, wouldn't that be the responsible thing to do? And I think what this does is it opens the door for the player, not the player character, but the player as in me, to do other things before I go into the next part of the story, right? We get a similar type thing in Heart of Thorns, where we will, in the story, be given an item, and we're going to tote it around until we advance through the next part of the story. And at that point in time, what they decide to do is create a client-side, asset of you wearing, carrying this thing in a backpack, and it only persists until you complete the next part of the story, which is pretty cool. Here, they're not going to do anything like that, right? We just give it to Marjorie, and then we'll get to the cave when we get to the cave. So I think that's part of it. But also, like, this fire could be dangerous, right? So let's give it to Marjorie, and that way we don't accidentally kill ourselves. We'll let her go ahead and take all the risk. I like it. It's a very sound idea. I don't want to burn myself up in the Divine Fire, so you take it, Marjorie.
All shiny.
And new mail. From Logan. Air, Zoja, and I are all together at the PAX forward base in the Silver Waste. Wait, who's missing? Air, Zoja... Oh, Kaith. Kaith is missing because she ran off the egg. And of course, Ritlock is still in the miss. The assault on Mordermoth is about to happen. Troops are gathering here. What are you waiting for? Come join us at Camp Resolve. Well, Logan, I appreciate the invite. as much as I want to, as much as I genuinely do, actually, want to fly an airship into battle. Because that was cool against Zaitan. The fight against Zaitan, of course, was immensely disappointing. I love this, by the way. The Priory, like this kind of thing, where there's like ancient lore here along these halls and stuff, and then that is extraordinary. Like the Priory just doesn't get enough, especially considering it comes from like core game. Does not get enough love for how cool it is. But yes, the fight against Zaitan was a disappointment, but like the airship ride is a cool thing. Like I wish, wish we could get some more of that. And we do, but it's a ways away still. And it's only for a brief period of time. It's a ways away still. Alright, into the Silver Waste we go. So I guess we're not heading directly to the cave. We're going to stop on our way to the cave and wish Logan the best of luck. Sorry I can't go with you, Logan.
Hey, over here.
Hi, Zoja.
Good to see you.
Yes, I agree. I have a mirror. I see me too.
Everyone, this is my son, Graham.
What did you say?
Yes, I see the resemblance.
She's lying. She thought Air wanted to hit on Bram. You're a liar, Zoja. You made it. Great. We've just been introduced to this young Norn here. He apparently is Air's son. A fact I didn't know when I first met him. You didn't know that? Interesting. Well, also, like, nobody knew, right? Remember, Ritlock didn't know. And, like, in fact, Ritlock was quite adamant that Air, if she did have a son, would have told people. So Ritlock straight called him a liar when he initially claimed to be Air's son. Is this supposed to be like a redemption thing for Air? Like, oh, now she's a good mom. Like, you can't go back and be a good parent. If you were a bad parent, you're a bad parent. Like, once your child is grown, that's it. You either did a good job or you didn't. If you didn't, you missed the bus, man. Like, it's gone. The ship has sailed. Whatever metaphor you want to use. Sorry, Air. You suck. I saw no point in mentioning it. Bram was raised by his father. Yes, because you're an absentee parent. He has made quite a legend for himself. You should be proud. Well, I mean, yeah. So in season 1, like Bram was important, right? So I guess we could say that. It's my great honor to meet you all. I've heard stories of your deeds since I was young. The socialization's good, but we have things we need to do. We need to launch our assault on Mordramoth now. We risk losing the fleet to another sneak attack if we stay here. I agree, but I can't come along. Remember the whole egg thing? Yeah, Zoja remembers. Did you find it? I did, but Kaith ran off with it. I'm trying to track her down. So they just now finding out about this? Like, but they were ready to go. Did they not wonder where Kaith was? She came through here not long ago, but she didn't stay and barely talked to us. She said she had something to do. If Zoja hadn't noticed her, we missed her entirely. No, she did not say where she was going. It was only that it was a matter of life and death. She took off before we could even offer to help. Don't be too angry with her. She's independent and stubborn. Well, she's an adversary to us right now, Zoja. So, I mean, I don't know. If you want to call that independence and stubbornness, that's fine. But she should be viewed as adversary. She's one of us. She saved our lives, all our lives at least once. I don't think you have to worry. She's just rash. So it's understandable why the other members of Destiny's Edge here would take that line. Like it is. 100%. It is not understandable why we would just like go along with it so much. The player character doesn't necessarily, maybe if you're Sylvari. But if you're one of the other 4 races, there's really no obligation for you to kind of go along with this Kaith is a good person nonsense. Oh no! Alright, so, bad things happening.
Surprised to learn Air has secret progeny?
Nope, didn't see that one coming.
Secret progeny. I kind of wish I had a guild called Secret Progeny. That'd be pretty awesome. gotta... I'm not gonna get switched in time. Ah, I wish I'd stayed a longbow. Anyway, aside from me not being able to play the game, the pack camp, obviously under attack. We're going to try and defend it. Everybody look out for all the Mordrum. Bad day, etc., etc. Oh no! Our big cannon thingy. Wow, like those pieces almost fell down there and squished us. We were that close to being... Oh, big vine plunging into the earth. So that whole like animation there is also what you'll see. I mentioned it a video or two ago. Of like the possibility to actually see that happen in the Silver Waste. Like just happen in front of you. And that's essentially the animation for what it looks like. Alright, so we're going to kind of bail on the South Gate. South Gate's overrun. So, if the South Gate is overrun, what's the point of securing the North Gate? Like, I got to be real. Like, you have enemy inside the wire. Going to the other gate does not... You need to consolidate. You need to reduce your footprint, consolidate, and, you know, and try and establish a new defensive perimeter. Going to the North Gate is, like, super counterproductive. But, okay, that's what we're going to do anyway. Everyone look out. We're gonna defend the North Gate here. Ooh. Can't reflect those giant rocks, apparently.
I could outrun a centaur.
So we're doing relatively well at defending the North Gate here. I have, however, bad news. It does not actually matter. Shortly, the North Gate is going to be overrun. No. We should have already done it, Bram. No, it is not over yet, but it's also not good. Not a situation we really want to be in right now. Fall back and regroup with your allies. Yes, that is the best possible thing that we could be doing right now. Oh, no. So we remember these, right? We ran into these in Iron Marches. We're going to get our buddies out of there so that they can help with the fight. Because if they do not help with the fight, then that's problematic for us. Oh, that didn't work.
Time to do some
I'm actually in a little bit of a spot here.
hurts, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Let's see, where's the third? Oh, it's over there. How did I not see that? Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Time to do some real damage.
Yep, getting bad again.
Feel the fury.
Airstrike. Okay, oh, and there's another voice. Zoja, it's time to call in the airstrike. Okay, so apparently what we need is an airstrike. Traherne's saying it, Zoja's saying it, everyone seems to feel like what we need right now is an airstrike. So we gotta take this torch, get up here to the airstrike illumination thing, and there we go. Oh, did we have a bunch of airships the whole time? Weird how we didn't call the airstrike at the gates and waited until the enemy was inside the wire and then call an airstrike on our own position. That seems like the lesser of those two options, if I'm being honest. Yay, everybody cheer. I've proven myself. Well, so I almost went down a few times, Traherne. And really all I did was pop stability and run with the torch. But thank you. This battle could have gone very differently. Our launch window is rapidly closing, so that is fair, right? Like, they've been telegraphing the assault for a long time, building forces, building forces, building forces. And they're just giving the enemy time to prepare. They need to conduct their, they already don't have the element of surprise. We know that because our staging point was attacked. The Pact pulled it off. I worried the Mordrim would overrun us. You were a big part of that. You were the only one able to get to the signal fire. Whoa. All right, man. So you've decided to launch now. Is our fleet ready? This is our moment to strike, before the dragon is fully awake and before its minions can swarm the staging area. We'll launch our ships as soon as we're ready. Well, you don't need to convince me, Marshal. I hope I can join you. This means you're definitely not coming with us. Well, we have a thing we need to finish, right? So truthfully, like, now we've taken this egg thing to the point where we need to see it through. And is like OP as we are, like, the fleet is not going to succeed or fail based on us alone. Like, in theory, like, we have all these different airships, which currently are all gone apparently. But we got all these airships and all these Pact personnel and cannons, a cannonball, all these mortars and stuff. Like, they need to go ahead and execute. Marjorie explained it to him. You're right to make it your priority. Then why did you ask her? You're ridiculous, dude. Okay. Logan, go do great things. Oh, we're back at the cave. Did she tell you why she was taking the egg? No, she did not. I wish I knew what she... I don't even want to give her the benefits. No time. She ran off before I could ask.
I'm telling you, Logan, you can't assume that Kate knows what she's doing.
How long have we known Kate? She doesn't think like other people, but she chose the path with her.
You saw how she hightailed it out of here to go after the egg. It had her attention the moment it was mentioned. Maybe we should tag along. Try to find Kate.
No, Soja, we promised to go with the Pact. They're counting on us. Morale would drop if we left now.
Reminds me of...
Don't even say it.
Yeah, so Logan's right. At this point in the story, remember, Destiny's Edge was with us for the Zaitan thing. So yes, we were there for the Scarlet thing. But really, I think it would be reasonable to assume that across the world of Tyria, like Destiny's Edge probably still has more clout. Or they're better known than we are.
It's opened my eyes. The first time I understand what it means to be a legend larger than your own life. I see it before me. In you.
But I could have been a mother.
At least, now I see why you left us. I see what Father saw when he agreed to let you go.
I wish you knew how hard it was for me to leave you. To say goodbye to you. And your father. And how many times I wanted to go back to you. I couldn't bear to have you look at me as if I were a stranger. To see you wondering who I was.
I don't want us to be strangers.
I'm glad. When I get back, let's go on a hunt in the Shiver Peaks together.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
All right, man. I've made my feelings clear on that. Like, I'm not gonna. But other folks may feel differently, and so there's some dialogue that kind of gives them an opportunity to warm up to the whole Air and Bram thing, and say, hey, look, Air's great. For me, it's further evidence that, like, most characters unfortunately aren't written super well. But all right, so we're gonna take a quick break right here. Like I'm gonna insert a video break. Just keep these videos to a reasonable length. So we now have the ability to open the cave that Wynn went into, and we are on our way to do that. We stopped here real quick to kind of wish Logan the best of luck on their whole. Let's see, we got the airships here now. They're finally starting to show up on the attack on Mordremoth, but we are not going to join the pact when they attack Mordremoth. They're about to go do that right now, and we're going to go enter the cave because Marjorie has brought with her the ability to do that. In the form of divine fire, which we obtained through an ancient rite. So when we come back, that's what we're going to do.